it was the hardest thing I've ever done, hands down. Like, I don't think you know what it's like until you experience it. Like, getting cursed out every day, like deaths thrown, fights. Nothing can prepare you for it. But I think like now that I've done that, I could really do like anything.
Sticks. So what's going on, Chase?
What's
Do the introduction here, my dude.
Welcome to the Dreamrun podcast. This is
the Dreamrun podcast.
We're up in here
with Chase and Tuma. This is volume 3.
Who are you?
Chase.
Tuma.
And today we have our guest Audrey with us today.
Hey.
What's cracking, Audrey?
Up,
Glad you can make it out.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
So quickly, if you guys haven't listened to the Dreamrun podcast before, we're all about diving into surf, skate culture around the Los Angeles area, specifically Venice and Malibu. Artists, creatives, anyone contributing to the culture here. And today we've got our first girl skater, Audrey, tearing it up.
Yeah.
Well, let me also say that she's not only a skater, she's an educator, and
Thank you, Tima.
she runs programs to she gives back to the community, right, at the school that she works at, and we're just giving her this little introduction, you know what I mean? She's out here in Venice, always like, just helping out the youth, man, and out there skating and representing for the women in skateboard culture, and I see her in the water quite often too, surfing. So, just give us a little background on what's up, Audrey. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore.
Be more, baby, 410. And I've been in LA for 7 years. I did Teach for America, so I've been teaching in Compton for the past 7 years. And yeah, skate, surf. I live in Venice. And
so can I ask you what brought you out here? And then you just mentioned Teach for America. Can you explain what that is actually?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to live in LA. Obviously, I think every person on the East Coast dreams of like the Cali lifestyle. Teach for America is a program that places people in underserved schools. So you get trained for like 4 weeks and then they throw you in. And yeah, so I wanted to teach in an underprivileged school, and I applied and got in, and then I was placed out here.
That's a very honorable, endeavor, but they only give you 4 weeks. That's pretty.
4
pretty
weeks.
gnarly.
It's honestly like it was the hardest thing I've ever done, hands down. Like, I don't think you know what it's like until you experience it. Like, getting cursed out every day, like deaths thrown, fights. Nothing can prepare you for it, but I think like now that I've done that, I could really do like anything.
Beautiful. I mean, God bless you. Seriously.
Thank you.
It's awesome. So where was that school exactly? I don't know if you said that or not.
So the first school that I was at, it's in South LA.
Okay.
Like 123rd and Western. So I was there for 4 years. And then the school that I was at for the past 3 years serves the communities of Compton and Watts.
Okay, gotcha. And so you've got this nonprofit, Concrete Queenz. You were nice enough to bring us a couple hats.
Concrete Queenz in the house. That's
hat.
what's up.
Proceeds go to the program.
Proceeds go to the program. Awesome. And how much are the hats, and where can we find them?
So the pink ones are $30. The black ones are new ones. They're $35, and you can find it on our Shopify. It's linked on Instagram, so go check it out, or you can DM me.
Perfect. And what age? Well, I guess leading into that, like, when did you start skateboarding, and then when did you decide you wanted to get these kids involved that are at your schools?
Yeah. So I've been skating for like 3.5 years, and then during COVID, I mean, like, full transparency, my school we weren't prepared.
Okay.
So I wasn't really working, and so that's when I was like really getting into skating and thinking about something that I could do with the kids. Like, sports was everything for me growing up.
Right.
And there's no sports programs at my school. They don't have gym. There's really nothing for girls. So I was like, how can I take everything that I love and I'm passionate about and bring it to my school and bring it to the kids that I love? And then I just thought of the name Concrete Queenz just one day, and I was like, oh shit, like I have something here.
Absolutely.
Like this is sick. I'm getting my trademark, so nobody come for my name, okay?
I mean,
culture vultures.
Yeah. No culture vultures.
Don't come for my name, okay?
No biting her style. No preying on the creativity.
So you mentioned the schools that you mentioned. I just want everybody to know these aren't schools that are in like affluent neighborhoods. These schools are in the hoods, right? They're in like really bad neighborhoods, impoverished neighborhoods, and so being a young white woman, educated white woman coming from Baltimore, getting thrown into that world, how were you received? You know what I'm saying? At first,
oh yeah,
I mean, were they totally open to what you being there, or did you get any flack from any of these kids?
No,
along the way?
I think like the culture there, like when there's a new teacher, it's almost like a game to them. Like they want to see how quick they can get the teacher to leave.
Right.
And so like that's kind of what you're fighting against. And I think like a lot of teachers have a hard time because like maybe they don't know how to relate to the kids, or they're not down. Like the kids know when you're down and like you are showing up for them. Like even if they are cursing you out or saying this and that, like at the end of the day, like if you keep showing up, like that's how you can build their trust and just show that you care and you want to be there. And yeah, the first year is hard. Like being white, obviously, like, it's like, well, duh, like people that look like me have been the ones that have been like putting them down their whole lives. So it's like, I understand that and I take it seriously. And then, like then the second year gets better and you continue to like just show up and be consistent and,
Well, your job is almost a thankless job because teachers are so undervalued, especially in Los Angeles, I would say. And you had mentioned that there's no sports programs in these schools because, our cities have decided to not fund the sports programs, the music programs, all these programs that prove to help kids learn better. You know what I mean? And so like, it's so beautiful that you started Concrete Queenz and you've been able to get funding, and you have people like Leandre and other professional athletes coming down and donating their time to like uplift the spirits of these kids, man, because they need it so much. Because I know personally a lot of them have difficulties at home, and their only outlet is through these activities. My only outlet when I was a kid was skateboarding. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't come from like a bad neighborhood, but that's what fed me. It kept me alive, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So big up to you.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to my volunteers too. Like Leandre, Mama Skate, just all of you. Like I really couldn't do it without you. And just for them to see people that look like them and, know how they've grown up, it just like means everything. So thank you all so much.
Yeah. I wanted to actually also ask you, at what point did you, so I know you just had some big milestones and we were talking, as we were setting up and everything, and we can share that, but kind of at what point, or I'm curious to know how it all started. Like, was this sort of a thing after the school day you started taking them? I just want to know the beginning to kind of where you're at now with it.
So it started just as like a teacher-led club. So I just organized it and we started skating every Thursday. This was in the spring of 2022. And there was just like an overwhelming amount of interest. Like I just couldn't even believe it. And so my school was super supportive. They were able to provide like transportation. We went to Venice that year on a field trip, and that was like all their first times going to the beach and, like driving down Abbot Kinney. And it was just like the coolest thing ever for them to get to experience that. And like, some of them, it was our first time at a skate park. They were like going through the snake run. I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm not teaching you anything anymore, but it was really, really cool. And then I was like, okay, like I have something here. And then I got my nonprofit status and I ended up like paying a company to like a consulting company to help me through that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then got my status in September 2022. And then we started again. And now like operating as a nonprofit so we can take donations and, we look more serious when reaching out to brands and stuff like that.
Right.
And then we did an event at the Compton skate park with the Compton Cowboys and Inner Black Yoga, which was like amazing. They're so freaking cool. They're like some of my role models. And then we went to Monitor Skate Park, and we went to the Venice Skate Park again. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, wow. That just, going a little bit back to, the first time at the beach. We're talking about these schools are 10 miles,
10 miles
from the beach.
Yeah.
And it was some of these girls. Is it all girls or is it?
Yeah, it's all girls, and then I always let a couple of guys come through.
Sure.
I mean, I
gotta give them something.
So I'm curious, how was everyone on boards at that point? Were you able to get them all boards?
Yeah. So at school, every week we set up kind of like a mock skate park. So first we just had cones and stuff, and then Keen Ramps donated some kickers and some smaller ramps, and then we also got somebody on Instagram just bought us an OC ramp. I don't even know how they found it, but they just bought it and sent it.
That's incredible.
And then Penny Shredful, her family donated our 2 big pink ramps. So we set it up every week, and they've learned they can drop in, and everybody's working on something different. So then we'll go to the skate park and see what they can do, and it's really cool. They're super focused. They push each other, and once we're skating, it's that's what they're doing, and it's really cool. I have some girls that maybe they're the ones that are out of class or talking and this and that, getting into mess, but then they're skating and they're smiling, and I remember I told one girl I have the chills. I'm like, dude, I've never seen you smile before. What
that's
the
incredible.
Hell? What? And they're stoked and they get so excited, and it's that's what it's all about, those moments, and that's it,
It's so beautiful what you're doing, especially for the young ladies, because within surfing and skating, that demographic of those sports are growing tremendously, right, Chase? The women now in surfing have the equal prize money as the men, and I believe it's either there in skateboarding or coming close to it, So the opportunities that you're opening doors for these young ladies, they can actually see a future in skateboarding if they want to, When I was coming up, there wasn't really much of a future. You couldn't see a longevity to where you could actually make money, It all turned when the Tony Hawk video game came out. That shifted everything, you know what I mean? And however people feel about Tony Hawk, he helped change the whole direction of skateboarding and make it more of a viable thing, And now it's an Olympic sport, right? And so it's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and it can't be easy. And I was gonna ask Chase, he's it sounds like you've been getting a lot of support from sponsors and stuff like that.
Yeah, and just going back to just kind of using skateboarding to open different doors for them. I think they could have sponsors, and then I think also thinking it okay, maybe they could have their own brand, or maybe they can open up their own skate shop, and showing them that that's there. We've had Ruby come from Venice Skateboarding and stuff, and Latina woman-owned business, and just exposing them to that, because I don't think they have any idea that that's there, and they can get into that field, and they're already making the connections now, and they know all these pro skaters. When we pulled up to Venice, they already knew everyone.
That's
so it was
dope.
Really, really cool.
So do they have to keep a certain level of grade and discipline to be able to participate? Is that a requirement, or is it something well, you guys can participate anyway because we know how much of a release this is for you,
right?
Which
and
actually might help them in the classroom.
I think it's always hard navigating that. I started off with a GPA requirement, and then I kind of got more lax on it, just because I was I don't want to take an opportunity to go on a trip or to participate in this from someone, when maybe this is their only opportunity to do this. And I think, obviously, you can't be throwing down at school every day, and fighting, and you can't get the same experience as everybody else, but I'm open to giving some leeway to get as many kids, because I know it's going to be beneficial, and you can use it as leverage. All right, you made this mistake. Now, I need you to do better if you want to keep participating. So.
Right. Beautiful. Chase?
Yeah, I was just going to add, I didn't realize how fresh and new this all is, and how quickly, you know, the community at Venice, some of these companies. I mean, that's remarkable. And to me, it's sort of a testament. It sounds like you've found something. I mean, you obviously have, you know, some of your sponsors and relationships with some brands and stuff like that, and having this little kind of offshoot where you're giving back. I mean, it sounds like, I mean, the fact that it picked up momentum so fast, I mean, it's great. And it sounds like it's like a sign. I'm pretty big on like omens and stuff, and like looking for signs and things. It's like keep going kind of thing. And it's almost like it's all going to kind of come together. Yeah. And it sounds like it just did with the news that you shared with us kind of before, right? What exactly, you have an agreement now with the school officially through the nonprofit? Yeah, so Green Dot Public Schools, they're like hiring us as a contractor to run the program. So I'll have 25 girls at the same school site as last year, Animo May Jemison, and then we're going to expand to do another 25 at Animo Legacy, and that's where I taught for 4 years before. So what is Green Dot Public School? Is this like an after-school enrichment program? So that's the charter. That's school. The charter school. Yeah, so that's who I was working for 7 years. Okay. So we're officially hired with them. Yeah. So they'll be paying us a little bit to run the program, and then we're applying for grants and fundraising. You know, and it's interesting what Chase said about it all happening so quickly, and you know, and to keep going. And I feel the reason is because there's a need for all of this. You know, that's why the momentum of it's taking hold. You know, and skateboarding is an activity that doesn't cost a whole lot of money. Right. You know what I mean? It's not like tennis or golf or anything like that, you know, and I think there's more people willing to donate product and things like that to get their kids on the road of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's been really cool. It's really cool. And seeing you guys, you know, like you and your little crew, like I just keep running into you guys, you know, up at Leo or up at Malibu or down at the Breakwater, and it's crazy. Like, I don't remember this much community and this many like female surfers and skaters ever. Yeah, and I grew up. Stoked. Yeah, I mean, it's been really fun. You guys, it's so fun running into you guys, and I mean, yeah, I grew up in a total surf skate town, and it's like, it was just something we did with our boys. Yeah. We never really had, you know. Are you pretty fired up to surf right now? Yeah, we're on. We're fucking on it, bro. Let me tell you. Charging. We're fucking out in the water. Let's go. Audrey can surf. Hey, have you surfed? Audrey can surf a little. Have you surfed with Audrey? I mean, I've been out in the water with her. You know what I'm saying? You can't, bro. Nah, he told me I was surfing good the other day. No, she was. No. Audrey shreds. I seen her out there. I'm really not. But no. She's getting on her game though. What's that? You said I was getting better. No, Audrey. Look. Here's the thing. Audrey is out there committing, spending time like daily out there doing it, and I see her getting up and making her turns and like going down the line, and like, yeah, she's doing it. Okay. This is more than other people that say, oh, I'm a surfer, and like they're riding whitewash. She's not riding whitewash. She's catching waves. She's dropping in. You know what I'm saying? And she's putting her time in, and it's dope, right? Well, now because I'm not teaching anymore, so it's like now I actually have time to get in the water and like spend the time. Because like all I was doing before, I would just complain about not getting like better at surfing, but then I wouldn't actually be surfing. Like I would just be like, oh fuck, I'm not getting better. But now like I'm in there. We're going off. Like it's been really fun. Like you're in it. I mean, you had a full double session the other weekend, and you guys had a burrito in between. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, and people always, I gotta start and I gotta this, and they're always expecting, you know, you to kind of show them or take them, and you know, we're all about giving tips, and like you and I paddled up the second point that day, and like we were trying to find a good corner up there, and like I'm all about that, but like at the end of the day, in order to progress, like you just gotta get in your cart and go, you know, and then you meet those friends out there, and then you run into some buddies from wherever, and you're progressing, and you're gonna have a frustrating session, right? Like we were at First Point Labor Day weekend, and I saw you picking off a couple kind of deep ones up on the point, kind of where I was sitting, a little couple, and you were stoked, but then I ran into you at Leo the next week. You were like, don't talk to me. You know?
on? What happened?
Bro.
Were you just like just
I was
frustrated?
like, I'm not having fun. Like, just go away. And he's like, come on, let's. I'm like, no.
You're like,
I'm at my limit.
you're like, Lucy took me to Sunset, and it was just so mushy, and like, like I couldn't get a wave, and now we're here, and it's firing, and like I still can't get a wave.
Dude, I don't know if I want to admit this right now.
It's Lucy's fault.
I don't know if I want to admit this. Yeah, Lucy. But I surfed for 4 hours. 4 hours. I caught one wave that I wouldn't even really count.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
It was okay though, because I got a burrito and then I got ice cream. And then I got one other thing because I almost bought 2 ice creams, and Lucy was going to let me do it. I was like, is it weird if I get 2? She's like, no.
hey, well, that shows a commitment.
yeah.
You're out there in the water for 4 hours and you catch one wave. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's for real.
I was upset.
And you made a good point, Chase, about if you really want to learn, you got to get in your car and go. Because we had this discussion the other day with someone we know that's always like, oh, I want to go surf, but I need a board. I need a wetsuit. And will you go surf with me? And both you and I are like, yeah, it doesn't really work that way. Surfing is a very selfish activity, people. You know what I'm saying? And like, when we're out in the water, we're about surfing. We're not about pushing. I mean, granted,
I don't
we
know.
will
This
help
one's
people
always,
out.
This one I should charge a therapy session
we'll
for
help
in the
people
water.
out. You should charge. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Cut.
Let's talk about this off camera.
Just kidding.
How much you charge, by the way?
Wow.
'Cause I could use some
Shots
help.
fired.
No, but seriously. So, like, you just got to get out there and go and do it, just like Chase was saying. Like, it's an everyday activity. You're not going to learn how to surf going out once. You come to the beach, from wherever state you come from. You rent a board and you go back home telling everyone that you surfed. You didn't surf. You rode some whitewash. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Facts be told, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Consistency has been the biggest thing.
So I got a question.
Surfing.
And she's an amazing surfer. So, and you rip on a skateboard too. You rip on a skateboard, and you said you've only been skating 3 years, but you've been here for 7 years, right? Mm-hmm. So what got you into skateboarding? Because I know you're friends with Lucy, and they have the whole Girl Swirl thing, but you're not sponsored by Girl Swirl, right? You have your own board sponsor, right? And so did you get involved in skating through their meetups and stuff like that they started in the beginning?
It was actually crazy because I was already living in Venice, but I somehow didn't know who they were.
Right.
And I followed Louise Marcette. She's like a friend. She does Surf Locos. It's a brand.
Okay.
But anyway, she had this little Carver, like a mini Simmons.
Right.
And I was like, who is this chick? Like, this is sick, whatever.
Yeah.
My dad skated growing up, and when I was younger, he got me a board, but where I grew up, it was super hilly, and I just was like, I can't do this.
Right.
This
Was
is
your dad like a
impossible.
vert skater?
He's crazy. He skated rails, and he's a big motocross guy. He's crazy.
Oh man, so you athlete
but
in your
anyways,
bones. Okay, yeah, continue. I'm
so
sorry.
So then I just saw her. I was like, this is sick. And I was trying to get into surfing more, and she was kind of doing the surf skating, going back and forth type thing. And then I was like, I'm just gonna get this exact board. And then I got it and started riding it. And then I found Girl Swirl, and I was like, wait, what the heck? This is crazy.
Right.
And then I went to one of their meetups, and I was late. I don't know what happened. And then I found Squid. Well, Squid found me, Lindsay. And she was like, hey, what are you doing?
Lindsay?
Yeah.
Did you
She's
say
like, what are you
Lindsay?
Whoa, hold on a second. Hold on. Do we need to talk about
me,
this?
No, we don't need to talk about this. But no, continue.
Right.
So you found Squid, right?
And then she found me on the street, and then she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know.
Sounds like Squid to me, yeah.
And then the rest is history.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But it is, it's so weird. I didn't, I saw that other girl first, and then saw them, yeah.
And so, all right. So you predominantly ride it's not a Carver board, but it has the Carver truck set up, right, on your board. And who's your sponsor? Who sends you boards?
Yao Surf.
Yao Surf, okay.
Yeah,
they're
really
Spain.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so they're really awesome. It was during COVID, and I messaged them on Instagram, and I was like, hey, I love your board. Not that many people in the U.S. are riding these boards, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And no women basically are riding these boards.
Yeah.
And just kind of went back and forth. This was 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And then they were just like down. And so then they sent me a board and I just like built a relationship with them. And then last year I went to Spain and went to their factory and got to meet all of them.
Wow.
And it was so cool, like seeing how all the boards were made and like they're doing everything by hand there. You know, it's like so impressive.
Wow.
Everything's made there. And you know, they're just awesome and got to meet a lot of their riders. And now Marta's here. It's been super cool. There's like a whole squad of us now and they've just been like growing and yeah, they're the best donated boards for Concrete Queens. Like I couldn't thank them enough. Like it was just it was crazy. It's crazy, honestly. It's crazy.
You know what's so dope is like you land here from Baltimore and like you're like hustling. You're like really doing your thing. You know what I mean? You created the Concrete Queens, you know, you're really giving back and you're sponsored skater and like I see your Insta fame. I see you out there, you know what I'm saying? Really doing your thing. It's super dope to see. Yeah. And who knows where's it gonna go from here? Like there's so much to build on now. You know what I mean? So the next venture is gonna be barrel queens. Yeah, gonna get that going or what?
I want to get them in the water.
Copyright that. Yeah.
Yeah. He wants his royalty check.
Yeah, for sure.
I got you. Don't worry. I got you. You still gotta come skate with us.
This is true. Every Thursday, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting how social media. Tim and I get into little tangents about this all the time, right? Like, you know, especially in his. I mean, you could probably speak better to this, but you know, you saw a lot of skaters and surfers, which is something I know a little bit more. It's like they get these checks, they get these sponsors, and it's like only the top guys are like making a living or at least like contributing to this, right? In that professional manner. And like social media has made like such an interesting opportunity for like a lot of girls like yourself being a prime example. Where you're just like, hey, like I'm out here skating, I'm enjoying myself, like I have this other message, I'm getting girls on boards, I'm like adding this value in this other way, not just like selling your board shorts or selling skate decks. Like you're like out here spreading a good message, and your social media can kind of be a conduit, and brands want to like support that and support your skating. And it's an interesting thing how like I think the big checks from the sponsors aren't coming as much necessarily, but you also have these like smaller people like you that are kind of like having your little career, you know, you're like a sponsored skater.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And like we were talking about it in the car a little bit, just like about Instagram and like the social media world and like thinking about how you can use it for good. And like I've made so many connections with people all around the world. Like some of my best friends I've met just through like connecting about skating on Instagram or TikTok. And then like when I went to Spain, I didn't know anyone, and I just was like, all right, let me just search like girl skate Barcelona or whatever it is. And then I like connected with people there. And then I don't know, when I decided I wanted to do Concrete Queens, I was like, okay, like I need to establish myself like as my personal brand and do my content and network with brands. And like, so they see I have some sort of like push or pull in that community, and then use that like to benefit Concrete Queens. Like that was always my goal with my social channels, just like what can I build there to push as much traffic as I can to Concrete Queens. And I started off, I had like 3,000 or 4,000 followers, and I almost have 14,000 now. And so like it's just been cool to like, I really think building that like has helped me, you know, get Arbor skateboards donating. Volcom just sent us a bunch of clothes. And like, you know, like it's just that little extra push. It's not just like, oh, I'm just like the founder of Concrete Queens, I'm just some like lady or whatever. Like I know it's like I have my own shit that I'm doing, and you can see like that I'm involved. I'm not just like sitting behind a desk, like, you know, getting people to go do the work. Like I'm on the ground doing the work too. So
Chase made a good point in when he was talking about the high level guys and the people at your level, you know, where your personality, you know, your level, the personalities at your level as opposed to the personalities that are like the top dogs of the world. I think a lot of people can relate to you because it's more accessible to them than it is to the top dogs like the Italos and the Tony Hawks and the Danny Ways and stuff like that, you know, and the Griffin Colapintos, you know, because it's just a more realistic viewpoint, I feel, you know. For instance, like I went to Highland Park a few months ago with my boy Dan from Juice Magazine, and we went to watch a Vans premiere, right? But it was like the B team from Vans. It wasn't like the top dudes, like, and I know Nyjah doesn't ride for Vans, but when you watch a video of Nyjah, like, he's got the best camera, man. You know, it's like cinematically done, like a movie, right? And these kids on the Van team were doing things where I'm like, it didn't feel so impressive, but it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, dude, kids can relate to this because they can actually do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so it doesn't separate. There's no separation necessarily, you know? Because when you get up into the bigger level of athleticism and stuff like that, it's like, it's hard to even like access that world. You know what I'm saying?
The training and the coaches now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a full, I mean, these skaters, I mean, they're fully athletes at this point if they want to be competitive, and the surfers as well. Yeah. Right. They're full blown athletes. So that's sort of not a lot of us, you know, we have other jobs, etc. Like these guys are training. That's their job. Right.
Yeah. It's serious.
I mean, the scariest thing about athletics now, especially with surfing and skating, even though when I was growing up, we didn't see a path. Now people see a path, parents see a path, you know. I think we talked about this in a previous podcast that we did about in San Clemente now, there's more kids homeschooled than anywhere else in the nation, right? Because, and all those kids rip surfing down there. But I think a lot of the parents think, well, they're going to be the next guy. And to even get in that world it's nearly impossible. It's like becoming the next NBA star. That's what I would compare it to now. Right. When I was growing up, it was a lot easier to become pro because there was less people. You know what I mean? And if you had some talent, you were already on that track to be a professional skateboarder, you know? And so, so it's beautiful that you're doing what you're doing and people can look up to you and go, yeah, I can do that too. Right. Yeah.
So with the surfing and stuff, I'm always thinking about surfing. So I'm wondering, did that come after the skating or how? I mean, you've been skating for about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
When did the surfing?
Okay. So like, I mean, on the East Coast, summer's only, you know.
So you surfed
months.
a little bit on the East Coast.
Yeah, in like high school, but like so inconsistent that it was like I wouldn't count that. I don't know.
Okay.
And so then, yeah, like same thing in college. We would like go to the Outer Banks sometimes and like surf there. I went to University of Maryland, College Park. Okay. Yeah. And then, but again, like I wouldn't really count that. And then once I moved to LA, like I'd come to the beach a little bit here and there. But I would say surfing, I think I started about like a year before skating.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But again, I was a fair weather surfer. I had work. Like I was surfing when it was like shit and like windy in the like afternoon, and I just wasn't progressing. Like
I guess it kind of makes sense that your dad is this like street skater and like motocross guy, because like seeing you on a surfboard, I mean, you're on like a little 5'8" fish thing. It's not like you're on like a.
It's the best board ever.
Tell us about your.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about the board because it's actually a really great story. So I borrowed a 5'8" fish, retro-nose fish, from my friend, and I was like just obsessive. I freaking love it.
It's a mayhem.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
I had to.
Thanks.
It's a mayhem. What, the board you borrowed or the board?
Yeah,
the board you're riding right now. Okay. Because I know you got another board made by a good friend of mine.
Yes, that's a 7.4 mid-length.
Okay.
That purple
all right.
one, which I like that one too.
Midlife crisis. I got one of those too. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, I love the board, and I was just like looking around, and I went to go look at some, and I could only really find like 5'6" and like 5'4", but I was like, let me just wait.
Yeah.
And this guy that I don't even really know how I know him. Like I think we were in like put together in like a group Instagram message, whatever. Like, so that's how I like started following him. And he was posting that he was moving, and it was like he took a video, and it was just like of like this table, and then all the way like in the back of the frame was this
spotted
like,
it
purple fish. And I was like, what's that? Like, whatever. He was like, oh, I'm selling this fish, if you want to come take a look. I was like, yeah, I'll come take a look. And then right before I went to his house, he sent me a photo and he was like, oh, I actually have this board too. And I was like, that's the exact board that I'm looking for. Perfect. And I scored it for $350. Wow. With fins included.
That's great
and
price.
And now I've been on it.
And you're loving it. It's a little quad fin, right?
Yeah.
Quad fin fish. Yeah, super it's wild. Fun. I mean, really for fun. Only surfing that long to be comfortable on that amount of liters and that short of a board. I see you paddle around on it. It's kind of it's pretty wild. I mean, that's not a long time. Most people at a year are just kind of, and probably the surf skating stuff.
I think that was like because like I was like getting into waves and then like say on the mid length like I was like, oh, okay, like whatever, but I just like felt like I wanted more mobility. And then when I could actually like once I like just got my paddling down and like stronger and I like could catch waves on the fish, then like the second I stood up, I was like, oh, it's the same thing as riding my board.
Really? Right.
And I'm just like it's so skatey. Like I was just like, oh, I don't even like, it's just working. Interesting. Which is really interesting because I think too, like a lot of the Yao riders, you know, like they're pro surfers or they're like these phenomenal surfers. So it's like going, you know, like that's the way. It's the surfing, and then you're using the surf skating to train for the surfing. But it's like I kind of did it like the opposite way and really got into like riding the surf skate first and then translating it to the surfing. But it's so cool to see, you know, like really talented surfers actually on the surf skates, and it's like totally different. Like you can really see, you're like, oh wow, like this is the style, this is what it's supposed. You know,
because me personally, when I see somebody on the they're kind of, but when you see someone that actually that rips, you know, I'm like, well, that actually works, you know. And it's interesting you say that, like how you even hooked up with the person to get the board. You're like, I don't even know if I knew the dude. We were on some group chat together, and you know what ends up happening now that you're like super celebrity, right? Is that people are gonna know you that you won't even know, but and they already know you. Yeah, you got people like looking up to you already.
Oh my gosh!
No, it's true. You know that. Come on, why are you blushing? No blush. Stop.
I'm shy.
Back to the whole surf. Back to the whole surf skate thing. I will say I have seen a couple guys where I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy must absolutely rip. Yeah. Like he's like doing like just going to parks like crazy like 10-foot walls and like slashing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude like probably hucks airs and then I surf with them and I'm like, oh, actually like.
No.
Yeah, and I've been like a little tripped out because I'm like, wow, how
it didn't translate like that.
How, like, because I'm watching in the pool, I'm like, oh my god, this dude gets it, you know. And then I'm like, wait, maybe not. But I will say about the Yao surfboards, I didn't make this connection, but Mick Fanning came out with a skateboard. Yeah, he's got like 2 decks with you guys, right?
Yeah. I have one of his boards, and they're coming out with a new model. But yeah, I think that one is like 30.
See if you can.
It's a little bit longer. Wow. That's a cool board, 30.
Okay, so I've got a couple of kind of our canned questions that we ask, you know, all of our guests.
Oh god.
Thus far, pretty straightforward. Since I guess you're predominantly a skater, we'll start with who is your favorite skater?
Daniel Vargas.
Oh.
Wait. Who is that?
Wait, I've never heard of him.
Who is that in relation to you? Do you know him personally?
I've seen him all over your Instagram. It's your.
I had to say that.
Of course you do.
I'm on the clock.
Who's your favorite surfer?
Can you?
Okay. You know Ewe Wong? She's like a young Hawaiian surfer.
I do know who she is.
She's so freaking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the Surf Girls Hawaii premiere, and she's on the show and everything. And bro, she's so sick. Like she's like small, and she gets on the waves and like freaking like charges. She's so cool. She's really cute. So I'm really excited for her. And to see her, you know.
Yeah, so I tried to get it. That's so funny. Yeah. I tried to watch that. A friend of mine said, oh, have you seen the Surf Girls Hawaii thing, etc. And I tried to get on there. And all those chicks are awesome. They got Moana Jones Wong. They've got
right.
This other Wong, I guess.
They're sick.
Yeah, and all of these chicks are like ripping, and I'm looking at the clips and stuff.
It's not wrong, huh? Bad joke.
Jesus Christ.
But it's like 15 minutes in, it's like the first surfing I see is like 2 foot Sunset Beach. And Sunset Beach, if you don't know, on the North Shore of Oahu, it's like one of the most notoriously dangerous, hectic waves in the world, right? Like deep water, big point break, gets huge. And, it was like 2 foot slop, and they're grinding it out in this contest. And I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I was like, I don't know
how they felt.
Did you watch the show? Or
Yeah, the show is awesome. I think there's like 4 episodes. But I feel like they could have done more. Like, it was really cool, and just to hear them like talk about growing up in Hawaii. And
so
like,
it's a docu-series basically.
Yeah, they did.
Kind of a non-scripted, almost reality, not like drama reality, but it's a non-scripted thing where they like set scenes up and they follow the storylines.
I got you.
And like there's some different competitions and stuff like that.
I got you.
So yeah, it was cool. It was. I feel like there really hasn't been a show like that. And so. Yeah.
Well, since Blue Crush, I know you're like a pretty big fan of that movie, right?
Yeah. I actually have seen that movie. We were talking. I don't watch movies.
That movie's great.
Or shows, but I have seen
Our buddy from Malibu is in that movie at the very end. Yeah, Todd Messick. You know Todd, right, Tuma?
I'm sure I do by face.
Okay, yeah, it's like super funny. I was like talking to him at Malibu, for a while, and we just on and in and out of the water, and then I randomly was like, I'm gonna watch Blue Crush tonight. It's super random.
It's funny.
And the very end of the movie, I'm like, whoa, there's Todd. Like, what the? And it was like the craziest thing.
I mean, I've never seen that. I've seen Point Break.
You've never seen
one of my good
Blue
friends
Crush?
is in Point Break, Vince
You
Klein.
gotta see
You know
Blue
what I
Crush.
mean? He's from Malibu, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was
But
the funniest.
I've never seen Blue Crush.
Apparently, he was a photographer for Billabong on
Right.
the North Shore for like 10 or 15 years or something.
Life,
and it's just like the clip of him at the end. He's just like at the Pipe Pro, like,
right,
shooting a photo, and he has like a line or two. It's pretty classic.
Well, now I'm gonna have to go watch Blue Crush and really, get into it and see what's
anybody want to watch with Tuma?
So we got your favorite skater. We got your favorite surfer.
Crickets. That's so.
Sorry, Chase. Go ahead.
Who would be where would be your favorite place to skate? Skate park or one of these cool banks I saw you do in Barcelona. I mean, like anywhere in the world. You've been going down to Ensenada, the pump track stuff.
At the Parc de Forum, I think that's technically what it's called in Barcelona. There's like the red and white wall.
Yes, I've seen that.
Oh, that's
so amazing.
Definitely one of my top spots.
Right.
It is insane. It's actually really gnarly. Like, all of those little stones are there's actually a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
Those, like, and they're, everyone you go over, it's kind of like right. That spot is so sick. Oh my gosh, just skating anywhere in Spain was just incredible, and San Sebastian and just there's so many skate parks and banks and just like cool spots. I
heard Spain's like a street skater's paradise, because especially Barcelona, because everything's like marble and just like smooth.
Yeah, cool. And then actually when I last time I went to visit my parents, there's Lansdowne skate park. It's like one of the oldest skate parks in the country, and that was really, really cool. Just all like old school banks and just like graffiti everywhere. Is a really cool spot too.
So when you were a little girl living in Baltimore, could you ever imagine yourself doing what you were doing now? Did you want to be a teacher when you were young?
It's my dream.
Was it your dream? When did this all come into into the mainstream of like, I want to be in California and I want to surf and skate, and this is what I want to do for my life?
I don't know. I feel it was just my dream, like watching the OC and all those shows growing up. Come on.
What? No,
well, it wasn't called Encinitas, bro. At least it's just the OC.
What's the dream living over here?
It really is. And we pay a lot of money and we deal with like a lot of BS, but at the end of the day, gosh, man, the beauty, being up at First Point or being up at Leo, looking back, catching a head high, perfect peeling wave, turning around, looking back at the mountains. I mean, getting, there was days this summer where I would surf for like 3-4 hours and then like pull up to Venice Skate Park for sunset and like get a skate in, and then they'd wheel out the DJ booth, and it's like, are you kidding me right now? You know, and it feels like, especially in the summer, it's like a movie around here. And,
thanks
so
for
blessed.
that reminder, because I find myself complaining. I drive the coast every day to go to work to teach kids how to skateboard in Malibu and Palisades and stuff. And some days I'm just not even paying attention to the beauty that like we are all exposed to every day. But then there's some days where the sun's coming down and I'm thinking about like, that beautiful California sunset where the sky is just like pink and purple and just, you can see Point Doom from the PCH, and it's like, it hits me. I'm like, dude, people spend their entire lives saving money just so they could drive down this coast, and I do it every day. But, it's one of those things, wherever you are, you're caught up in what you have to do on the daily. So it takes away from that the beauty of where you're actually at. You know what I mean? So it's a good reminder that we live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Yeah.
We do. And it's actually sometimes refreshing, for someone like yourself to come out here and start contributing. You're contributing to the community, and like Tuma said, and we've talked about this too, like a lot of times people move out here and they have an intention, and it's clear that you had some kind of intention, and it gives you a path to like move forward,
right?
And become a part of the community and contribute in a positive way. So it's interesting, and we see a lot of people here that are given all this, right? That are given all this, and they take it for granted, and they lose sight of it, and they fall off the rails somehow. I've got buddies that don't even surf anymore, that don't even skate anymore, and it's like, tied up in other things.
What I find a lot of is that people that come from other states tend to have a grind a bit harder than a lot of people that grew up in California. You know what I'm saying? Because like
we know what it's like.
We're like beach life. You know what I mean? It's a trip. Not to say that people from here don't know how to hustle and have their thing, but I find like a lot of people from the East Coast especially come out here and grind. Because they're coming from a different
things move
different
quicker.
Grind,
things move quicker over there.
They're coming from a different energetic,
especially
zone,
New York,
right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy over there.
Yeah.
People just go in circles around us.
Yeah.
Well, what about favorite place to surf? I mean, you haven't been surfing that long. Have you done any
Old Faithful Breakwater?
Breakwater.
Oh gosh.
What?
I don't know if I can let that. I don't know if I can let that slide on this. I think.
Okay.
Oh, what you just in Venice, dog?
Yeah.
See, here we go. This guy.
Come at me.
Yikes.
I mean, he comes from a place where the beaches are. Where are you from? Encinitas, right? From Encinitas, where the surf's good, the water's cleaner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Waves are good, right? I mean, we got our Venice breakwater. I'm proud of it, dog. You know what I mean? Like
how we get our superpowers.
We get good summers and good winters. Like summertime, we get these little lefts that come in. It's not firing, but you know what I mean? Like,
you know what you're gonna get.
You know what you're gonna get. Yeah.
Old Faithful.
Old Faithful.
That's
right?
what's up. That's what's up. I'll see you out there. I've seen you out there. Second point.
It's fun. I like going down to Baja. Surfing there is fun.
Nice.
I don't know. Wherever.
That's dope. No, just choose the local. Just keep it core. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So do you ride boards with trucks that aren't Carver trucks? Do you go down that path
I
all?
I have a regular deck that I've been getting into.
Right.
Doing my rock to fakies and all of that shit.
Okay.
So I've been going back and forth. Definitely more now. Like I've been getting into riding a regular deck because all my girls are on regular boards.
Right.
And so like being able to coach them and teach them, like I obviously have to know what I'm doing.
And so Chase also mentioned that he saw a guy shredding on a Carver board and then he surfed with him and it didn't translate so much. Do you feel like you riding the board you've been riding has helped your surfing?
Yeah, 100%.
It has.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I think a lot of it, like the muscle memory too. Like I feel like, you know, once I'm up on the wave, it's like the same exact feeling, just in terms of like where to pump exactly, and not just being like, I don't know. Like, you know, I see some people, it's like not pumping in the right spots.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like it kind of clicks if you are riding the surf skate and then get on the wave.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, once I, you know, don't watch me. So.
I think they're pretty fun. I mean, like, they're always around in Venice and stuff. And I'll just, actually, especially after the Swirl Fest, there was like a bunch around. The one that I borrowed had light up wheels. It was pretty sick. And I was so just
cute.
I know, it is cute, right? And I was just ripping around on it. Did you compete in the
Oh my gosh, I competed
Swirl
last
Fest?
year, but I didn't compete this year because I thought I was going to be down at the US Open, but I ended up taking the girls the day before. And then I wasn't able to do it,
took them down and did
I was skating around. I saw you guys there. Sorry, I got to keep my mic like this.
Bruh, do you know what the first and second place prizes were? I didn't find out till I had to go somewhere.
There was a trip. Yeah, there was a trip to El Salvador, a 4-day trip for first place.
And then the second place was an electric
e-bike.
E-bike.
Yeah. Are you going to compete next year?
Well, now I know those type of prizes for sure. I'm competing next year.
We were actually kind of shredding that. Tum and I were kind of shredding that.
I remember
part.
you guys.
Yeah,
we were having a good old time, and then we got kicked out because we didn't sign our waivers, and then we got our wristbands, and then we kept skating a little bit. It's pretty fun. It was a good time.
They had like a bigger ramp this time, so that was fun.
That was a fun little party down there. I must admit. I saw a bunch of people I knew. Tum and I bounced around. And
so do you ever think about organizing your own event?
I want to do
collabing with Girls World if you guys are, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean they
that
definitely
type of relationship,
like we're definitely gonna plan something like collaborating together. They do stuff with the Love Activists. It's like another community organization, and we've talked to them too, you know, about like getting together and doing something. I think like I'd want the event to be like community based near the school, so like Compton, Watts, South LA, like partner with some of the other nonprofits down there and really like keep it there. Obviously have people from Venice and everywhere else come and support, but
for sure.
Just as many like resources and whatnot I can get there, I definitely want to make that happen.
And so speaking of collabs, because you like travel down to Baja and, you know, Spain and other places that you know, Costa Rica, right? You've been down there for those retreats down there. Do you ever think about different branches of Concrete Queens in some of these areas? You know what I'm saying? Like expanding down to Baja and helping out those girls down there and starting some organization in one of the schools down there or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
No, it's definitely a dream. I feel like it would be so cool. And also just to get the girls here, even like get them passports and get them traveling. And then you know, then they could come back and work for the organization and continue the work. And then they could be the ones going and, you know, running stuff in different spots. Like I think it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Like why not? So,
why not?
Why not?
And why not you?
Why not?
Why not you? Why not me?
Why not you?
That's what's up.
Why not you?
Why not me? Do you guys want to get into like a little bit of like surf, maybe skate news? Did anything happen this week that you guys, you know, I mean, we obviously have the lowers thing, WSL finals. Are you into that at all? Do you ever watch pro surfing?
A little bit. I didn't watch it this weekend though.
It was
was it last weekend? Last weekend,
yeah. Okay.
Can you give us a recap?
Well, yeah. I mean, nothing much of a recap, but I mean, I think it's important being, you know, we're probably a little bit late to the party. Like everyone's already like commented on it and put stuff out, but this won't come out for like another couple weeks. But I will say like
this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to share some news after you.
Okay, perfect. What I was kind of well, you know, why don't you go ahead and we'll close out the show with some surf and skate news.
Okay. Are you engaged?
So, no, not yet.
Tumo's about to cry.
So I just found out. I hate you guys. Okay, so I can officially announce on September 28th. So don't leak this. But we just found out that we won a $25,000 grant from the LA Dodgers Foundation.
Oh my
So,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, it was crazy.
Oh my God.
I was surfing breakwater, got out of the water. I was like, I'm just going to check my email. It was like 4:30 p.m., like just random in the middle of the day.
Wow.
I checked my email and I was like, holy crying.
That's
like
incredible.
crying. Like, holy shit.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean,
well,
it's
thank
like
you.
a freaking dream. So.
Yeah, thank you to LA Dodgers.
Yeah. Go Dodgers.
Thank you.
Go-
I'm no
I mean-
longer an Orioles fan.
I mean,
Go
no,
Dodgers.
Yeah.
definitely go Padres. But what I will say, what I wanted to ask you is, what I would ask you is, what are you going to use that money for, and what was that process like applying for that?
Yeah. So, my friend Justin, he does Dogtown fundraising. Not sure if you guys have heard about Dogtown fundraising. Yes, it's like a perfect, right?
Checks out.
Consultation.
Checks out.
Yeah, and so their team has been helping me just with like writing grants and basically like any questions that I have as like a new executive director for a nonprofit.
Right.
And so his team supported me with the grant application and getting everything submitted, and then we sent it in, and then we just found out.
And that's it. And
And
how
that's
long?
it.
And what was the wait
So
time?
I think the grant was submitted in June.
Okay.
It was the grant application, and then I made a video to like go along with it,
Okay.
and then we just found out last week.
And the
September. And then I think the 28th I'm gonna find out more just about like how the money can be allocated. So like they could say,
Okay,
you know,
so-
you could use it for whatever you want,
Right.
or
Right.
I need to see a breakdown. Like this is like what the breakdown is going to be. A lot of like the stuff for the program is like in-kind donations, like the skateboards and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of the money like will go to staff salaries and the people that have been helping support. And then also travel and getting the girls like to as many different places as possible.
Wow, that's
But crazy, oh my God.
That's so exciting. Yeah,
And
good
then,
for
you know, who knows, like once
Good for you.
we'll
That's
be listed, you know, as one of their donors. And then, you know, that's just the beginning. Yeah, it's like hopefully it'll
that
get the ball rolling because, you
yeah.
know, we're just trying to keep the lights on and
amazing.
live.
Amazing. Congratulations.
So, yeah.
Thanks to the Dodgers.
Yes, go Dodgers.
you know, a lot of the work you do in the very beginning, like it's kind of like thankless. It's not shiny.
Yeah.
It's like the grind, you know, it really has to be done from a heart-centered place, you know what I mean? Or you can get jaded, you know.
Totally. Oh my God.
But then when things like this happen,
Yeah.
it like really reinforces like, look, I'm doing such a good thing and people see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And people see
yeah.
it and then it just motivates you to want to do more, right?
Totally. No,
You
I
know?
definitely needed it. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I quit my job to
Yeah.
pursue this and like took a big risk. And,
Right.
you know, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, like my rent is due. Like, what am I going to do? But then it's like something like this happens or a brand wants to get involved and you're like, okay, like now I can keep doing the work. Like I know I'm supposed to do it. So
Yeah, I mean, and you know what was it? The 2028 Olympics is going to be here in LA.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be at the new stadium that's really
Yeah.
close to a lot of these schools. So you never know, man. Maybe there's somehow it can be integrated with
Yeah.
that, you know, because of the work you're doing, you know, people will be interested in like being a part of it and stoke some of these girls out,
Yeah.
stoke your life out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Love
never know.
that.
You never know.
I mean, you don't know, but you know, you got to put in the work, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, can't worry about the results all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust the process.
That's what they say. Concrete Queens.
Concrete Queenz, baby.
Concrete Queens. That's what's up.
We're going to do a little house cleaning here for the Dreamrun podcast. First up in the surf news, Felipe Toledo, now two-time world champ, back-to-back. Pretty much a dominant year, dominant performance. Caroline Marks for the female side. I would say that would be the same. I mean, her totally outsurfed everyone that I saw. Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to comment on or anything that you saw?
Well, you had mentioned, you know, to me before about Ethan Ewan's equipment and how his shaper isn't getting enough credit, right? The DHD shaper, right?
I don't think, yeah, and I don't I've read some articles, seen some posts,
right?
And I don't think anyone said it like that equipment is so dialed. And like when John, you remember when John went on that run at Margaret's, and he was doing those crazy raps, and everyone was like, what board is he on? What are they doing? What's going on? And that was the release of the Ghost, the Faison Ghost. And the board is sick. It's an amazing board. Outline's beautiful, whatever. But no one is really giving credit to Ewing in these raps he's doing and how like in tune this equipment is. You know, and it's like he knows exactly when the fins are going to release, and he's coming out. I mean, the turns are like, they're so sick. They're so progressive. And I just don't think that anyone's really like pointing the finger at like the shaper surfer relationship there. I mean,
it's not as highlighted as it should be, you know. I mean, Ethan Ewing's style is just ridiculous, right? Those turns are razor sharp, dude. Just precision, no drag. He knows when that tail's going to release, right? And he's coming out of his turns with Mach 10 still with, enough speed to carry. What I noticed watching the finals, though, that he did the same lines over and over and over. You know what I mean? There wasn't like he has those turns down. You know what I mean? Like they're super beautiful, but there wasn't enough variety.
And
there wasn't enough variety. And then the air game, you can't beat that. Right.
Absolutely. And that's where I think Griffin fell short. I think Griffin was surfing just under Ethan in his heat. But Griffin needed to, in his last couple waves, do what Felipe did. Do one of those turns and match Ethan. Do another turn and then just on the outside blast a huge air reverse or something. Right. And he never did. He tried 2 or 3 airs, couldn't stick them. And ultimately that rail surfing Ethan does is just, it's so insane.
It's so insane.
And it's so critical. And he reminds me of like the guys I grew up watching. Right. Like Ross Williams. If you look at Ross Williams, this section loose change where he just throws a couple of the craziest turns and everything's just so in form. Like Kelly back in the day. Ethan rides a narrower board. Yeah. So that's, he's doing that crazy rail surfing. It just reminds me of like those loose change, those momentum guys. No Destination is another old video. They went on an Indo trip. Taylor Knox, a bunch of those guys. So, and then obviously Caroline Marks. I don't know if you watched that heat at all, but she was just like doing crazy turns. And I think she's only 21.
I did watch that heat.
Crushing it.
And her backside game, she was just glued to her board. Like she could do no wrong. And she had better wave choice than Carissa.
Right.
And second year that Carissa has been knocked out, bro. She just keeps getting shut down. I mean, she's a gold medalist. She's an Olympian, right? They can't take none of that away from her. How many times she won? How many titles has she won?
Oh, I think four. Yeah, and they're like almost in a row too.
And so Caroline, that I didn't know is how many world champions have come out of Florida where there's like no waves.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's incredible. There's like 10 world champions that have come out of Florida, and majority of them are women. Yeah.
Well, I think total there's like 21 titles or something.
Right.
And obviously Kelly has 11 of them.
Yeah.
But still another 10.
Yeah.
And I mean, the last time the title's been in California was like Tom Curran or something, right? I think I heard that was the stat on that.
That was the last,
Santa Barbara.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was what, 80 something, right? Right?
I wasn't even born yet.
Oh, man. Midlife crisis. I ride one of those. Did I tell you that earlier?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did, huh?
So that was super exciting. I was there. I was at Lowers. Fun. Ran into Britt Merrick, dude. Guy's such a homie. He's so nice.
Is that right?
Yeah. I've chatted up with him a couple times at like some CI events and randomly and then I'd walk by. I mean, that was kind of cool. I saw Kai Lenny on the beach.
Right.
Peter King was on the beach. Just like Surf Led. It's cool that's sort of, I think, the hub of progressive surfing in SoCal. I think Malibu is the longboarding, probably in the United States, is probably the center of longboarding, maybe that in Sano.
Right.
And then Lowers is obviously like your progressive surfing hub, possibly in the country. I don't see where else Yeah, that's where all the pros live.
In San Clemente?
Yeah, that's where
that's where all the dudes are. There's
yeah. And so it's fun to be down there, right on the rocks. Afterwards, we paddled out, and there was a time at Lowers where there was like 5 people out, and the waves were probably like head high overhead.
Right.
We had such a fun time.
Never get that down there.
No. I mean, it's always like 40 people. All the homeschool groms are just running it. So don't say anything. I also wanted to just quickly, I read an article about an investigation going on at Topanga into the localism. Yes. Did you see that?
Yeah, actually, someone told me about that.
Are they investigating it, or are they just posted that that's what's happening? Or is there a full investigation going on?
There's a full-on audio clip on NPR kind of covering it all.
Okay.
I read sort of the little write-up.
Right.
And yeah, they like did a full investigation into like localism, and I guess, do you know what happened to trigger that?
I mean, I don't personally know what happened that triggered that specific incident, that specific situation that triggered that. But I know I've had my own issues down there at Topanga.
Absolutely.
Like,
there's some pretty aggressive,
with some racist words said to me.
Oh.
In the water around 30 or 40 people that I knew, and nobody did anything. Nobody said a word. I got out of the water. They ran up on me. Yeah, like that.
What year was this?
This was in 2019.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some hotheads. Do you think the guy was maybe on drugs or something? I mean, there's a couple.
I don't know if the guy was on drugs. I don't know what it was, but I mean, I don't even want to say their names. It's these 2 brothers, and then their dad too, and
they knew you.
I didn't know them.
You didn't know them, but
I knew everybody else that were around them, and nobody said a word. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I won't go to Topanga.
Whoa.
That's why I surf Malibu, right? I love it up there in Malibu.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The thing about Topanga, I mean, I grew up here in Venice my whole life, 50 years, right? Venice, Santa Monica. I've been going up, and down the coast my entire life. Most of the people that are locals in Topanga, they don't live in Topanga. They live on the other side of the hill in the valley.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they lived in Topanga at one time, because there's a lot of people that don't live in Venice anymore that were born and raised in Venice and can't live there anymore. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of an interesting wave, though, where it's like, okay, you live in Venice, the breakwater's right there.
Right.
I mean, there's parts of Topanga where like it could probably take the same amount of time to drive there from like Santa Monica. Right? I mean, if you think,
for sure.
I mean, but yeah, it's like the principle.
I mean,
I know what you mean. It's like the wave right down in front.
Right. It's
an interesting thing. I mean, the neighborhood is like a good 15 minutes up the canyon.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is, and
I mean, like,
take you longer to get down. But
my local beach where I grew up, like we lived, like we could walk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate. And I mean, we were talking about our childhoods earlier, and we were talking about California in general earlier. And I just thought back, like, what a joke my upbringing was. Like, it's just, I skated around my neighborhood and surfed every day. It's just a joke. I rode the bus home from school and just ran to the beach. It's just like, who does that? You know? And we're so.
I did that.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I moved and went on my own and, or traveled around the country too.
Yeah.
Until I realized, like, damn, we get this gift, we get to go surf, we get to be near the ocean. And at that point, I don't know, I haven't really taken it for granted since. And, and it's just people, I mean, go around, go to some of these airports and some of these other states,
It's like experience a winter on the East Coast, like having to heat your car up before you can touch the steering wheel, and like going outside with wet hair and you have icicles hanging from your head, crying, trying to walk to class.
That bad?
Yeah, bro.
Whoa.
Gnarly.
Wow.
Gnarly.
Wow.
But then you have snow days, and that's kind of fun. So.
Did you guys see this? Did you guys see this skate? There was a skate jam. Adidas and I think Fucking Awesome put on a skate jam.
They do that
some of the boys
every year. they do that.
Yeah, some of the boys were there. It looked super sick, and then all of a sudden it just went hectic. Yeah. Like these guys started blowing up, lighting stuff on fire.
They do that every year.
Oh yeah,
that's what they do.
Car, like,
they
fire.
Blow shit up.
Damn,
Fires,
the riot
line,
people came out and everything.
Like, and FA is like they're all about that. They don't care.
Really?
Adidas doesn't care. They're not,
I'm
whatever
surprised
fine
Adidas,
they get, it's just whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Adidas is just on board, right? Because they got the skaters are running the skate program through Adidas, so they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, one of the guys, Isaiah, skates for them. I think a little bit, get some shoes and stuff.
Who?
Isaiah.
Who's that?
You guys, long
Hella
hair
split.
from Colorado.
Oh yeah.
He skates for them a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he does. He gets some flow from them, definitely.
Oh, he does. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
That
Rise
was,
for Arbors now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Yeah.
That was. I don't know. That looked pretty crazy, and there was a couple clips. Like, it's funny. I saw like some of the homies were there,
right?
And then like immediately when I woke up the next day, there was like a bunch of clips of this Harley like jumping. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah.
Harley jumping over the cop car.
So 2 weekends ago, they by the basketball courts, on the handball court walls, they put 2 quarter pipes there.
Who did?
Oh, I saw that.
Born and Raised did with Nike, because after my boy Spontos died, he was one of the founders of Born and Raised, the clothing company. They had this deal where they did this collab with Nike, right? And they wanted to bring all the Venice homies and show Venice and fucking skating in Venice and stuff, and represent Nike through Venice, tradition and stuff like that. But they built these 2 quarter pipes, and Hayden's like doing these wall rides.
No.
Like, you can see where it says the Venice handball courts, beach and recreations, and Hayden is going all the way up the wall to like the letters, bro.
Yeah,
it's like
I thought it was
30,
fake.
40 feet
like,
high. It's so sick. Red Bull did that a few years back, where they had a wall ride contest right there. Pedro Barros, everybody, all the fucking dudes were out. But this was like a little private, like nobody really knew about it. It was dope. I got video of it, so.
Oh, word. Yeah, we should see that. Yeah, we should throw that up or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, actually, this is a pretty big day. Speaking of like throwing that up in social media, we just threw out the first clip.
Yeah.
From Two Men Eyes, kind of inaugural episode, volume 1. And it was pretty well received. I mean, I cut up a couple clips from the episode.
People loved it, man.
Pretty well received.
Lot of feedback, man. Lots of feedback where people were like, "Whoa, stoked."
They're stoked to hear about it, and
they're stoked to hear about it. They're stoked to see it. They're
That's
like,
great.
Legend and all this other stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is kind of crazy, bro.
Right.
Like, cats that I've skated with for years, like, their names are like hitting me up, like commenting and stuff, which they don't normally. And I'm like, whoa, we're on to something, bro.
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a milestone, and it was super cool. Like, I threw up the reel on our little account, and we did like a collaborator thing, which is kind of new.
Yeah.
And, it showed up on your stuff, and I came in from surfing. It was just like, damn, like this thing just got like blown up, and it was super cool. It was like our first little clip.
And so when we get this edited down, you shoot some to Audrey, and she's gonna blow it up too. Like we're going off. It's all in that vein. We're going off.
Yeah, so as of right now, when we're recording this, I mean, the first episode will come out in the morning, Spotify and YouTube, and then we're working on Apple Podcasts. But yeah, super stoked. Thank you so much, Audrey, and we're super like we're happy to like support you and like your Concrete Queen stuff, as well as like your personal kind of goals and aspirations. Can't wait to see you in the water more. Like it's such a cool thing to like see these girls out there getting
tomorrow
it.
Morning, baby.
There you go. Surfing? Tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah, I can surf tomorrow morning. I don't work till the afternoon. Let's go. Let's go.
We can continue. We can do a podcast in the water.
We'll just do the live feed. I'll just go live, Insta fame. You know what I'm saying? So, as Chase said, so stoked that you came out to speak with us. I know we had to reschedule, and, we finally got together to really just hear what you got to say. And it was really inspirational and super support what you do. And you know, Concrete Queenz. This is Audrey. You know, she's not just a surfer and skater. You know, she's out there helping the community and really affecting lives in a positive way. And so how can they find you? What's your Insta fame? Where you at?
Yeah, so thank you guys for having me. It was really, really fun. I feel like we're on this journey together, and like we all have a gift to give. Everybody has a gift to give. It's just like figuring out what it is and then pursuing it. So thank you.
You're so
And
welcome.
you can follow me on Instagram. It's Babyface, but it's 2 B's, Fais, and then Concrete Queenz with a Z on Instagram, TikTok, and www.concretequeens.org.
Love it. Yeah, it'll be linked up in the show notes. It'll be linked up on Instagram. All right. I guess with that, we're going to wrap up Volume 3 of the Dreamrun podcast with Chase and Tuma.
That's Chase. I'm Tuma. Volume 3, Dreamrun podcast. Subscribe. Follow us. It's all the way live.